It's 20.
The following program is the property of KCEG Radio and cannot be reproduced or rebroadcast without the permission of KCEG Radio. And now, coming to you live from Studio A in beautiful downtown North Dakota, ladies and gentlemen, for your listening pleasure, it's the Mike Leonard Show.
This is KCEG Radio, playing unsigned artists 24/7, and you are listening to the Mike Leonard Show. Now here's Mike with today's topic.
Thank you, girls. Tonight's topic is... Oh, I think I got reverb on echo. I'm sorry. Tonight's, we're going to have a live interview with Glenn Burgitz, and he's from the Norwegian Soft Kitten, and we're just waiting for him to get in the chat room. And if you're online right now, Glenn, go to the chat room, and where it says conference room, just KCEG, all lowercase, and then if you just get a blue screen from there, just right-click it and click down at refresh frame, and it'll get you right in here. But make sure it's no caps for KCG Radio or KCG. That's all you type in, all lowercase. And then let us know. If not, I got my email. I'm checking it out. We'll see about, well, possibly we're going to probably have to play a song right now. Let's see. We'll give him about a minute. See how it goes. Okay. Okay. So just remember, Glenn, if you're listening, go to the live chat, click on the live chat tab in the chat room area. And then for the conference room, click or put in KCEG, all lowercase. And then after that, just, if you get that blue screen, right click that screen and then click refresh frame, and it'll bring you into here. I know on one of my computers it does that. I have to do that for some reason, but okay, well, we're going to start this one off. I guess we're going to start it off right now with Norwegian Soft Kitten, and this is the Full Moon Raging on KCG Radio.
In the castle, deep in the nighttime, in closest blackness, down in the darkness, how it devours. The ravens come for me. Lifting disguises in closest blackness, thunderstorm rages, wings of a tempest, castle in morning. Now I see it in the distance. marching in silence, echoing backwards. Voices are empty, chambering in winds. Carry me deeper, sunless drifting in. Crown of repentance, halo of sorrow, wings of transgression, tangled religion, feeding the clockwork, asking too much of lies. Now I'm falling through the window, away from us, sinking through this blackened shadow. Stay with us. Over the raging rays of blackness, faintly calling out. Down in the darkness, how it devours. Ravens come for me. Fading away, what light begins to decay, and you're a stranger now. The light has faded away, a shadow, all that remains, but you're with me somehow. Lost in the castle, deep in the nighttime, in closest blackness. Down in the darkness, how it devours. The ravens come for me.
Norwegian Soft Kitten, Full Moon Rising on KCG. We're trying to get, can somebody try to get into the chat room? For some reason, we're not getting sound out there, and I'm not sure if it's on my end or if it was on his, but can somebody please try to get in there? Let's see. Well, I see you there, Glenn. Got to see if we can get somebody on there. I only have one song of yours. Yeah, it's not letting me in on my phone for some reason, unless it's because I'm logged in already. Okay, we're going to have to decide what to do. I'm looking on here. Everything's showing. I'm going to just look on mute everybody. Nope. Okay. We need to get somebody on this chat room, see if it's on my end, or because it should be on as long as I got sound. Oh, jeez. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. It should be 1 2 1 2. Testing. Well, let me just open up the radio station real quick. I'm going to check this out real quick. Okay, I'm going to restart that. I'm going to restart to see if it's on my end. Testing 1 2 1 2. Okay, I'm joining the meeting. Glenn, can you hear me? Leave the meeting. More actions. Okay, it's on the best performance. Oh, am I still in? Okay, I'm not sure what's going on here. Can we try this at a different time? I'm really sorry. I cannot hear you. We're having technical difficulties. I've never had this. Let me play a song real quick, and then we'll try to work this out real quick. Please bear with us. Testing.
Of your lies, I'm fed up. Don't talk.
I'm gonna open up the station and see if I can get the sound. Okay, yep, it's working. Hey, sound is working on this end.
Your lies, you, my friend, have become my enemy. Don't deny what you hide. I will find you. You're my enemy. No more of your game. Nothing is the same. I broke free at long last. All this
Testing. 1 2
is the pattern
1
of your life.
2.
You, my friend, have become my enemy. Don't deny what you hide. I will find you. You're my enemy. Of your life, you, my friend, have become my enemy. Don't deny what you hide. I will find you. You're my enemy.
Okay, Glenn, if you're listening, I did get logged in, and it is working. It's something to do on your end that you sound. See if you can get the sound on your speaker to work. It is working on this end. I did get on my cell phone, so please try it again. Just check your sound settings and the mixing part of it if you can, and we'll get back to this ASAP. I really apologize for this. Now from Norwegian Soft Kitten. Hi, Glenn. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, I want to say we've so happy that you got connected now. I was like, couldn't figure out what was going on, but we're going to start the interview, and welcome to the Mike Leonard Show. And first of all, I'd like to thank you for joining me on the show and welcome you to the KCG family. And Glenn, will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm the guitarist, and I do most of the singing for Norwegian Soft Kitten. My bandmate, Alan Green, he probably sings about a third of the songs. I sing 2/3 of them. And I don't know, we have a lot of fun writing and recording songs. Alan is, I don't know, the creative genius of the band. And I kind of look at it that if we were construction workers, I would be pouring the foundation, and then Alan does all the fun, cool stuff that I come up with. A lot of the lines, a lot of the music, but then Alan, he just has a way of just elevating songs just way beyond anything I ever imagined they would be. So I guess that's a little bit about me is in the context of Norwegian Soft Kitten.
And how many is in the band? Is there 2 or more?
It is just the 2 of us. I play all the guitars. Alan does the drums and bass. And then Alan, he's very technically savvy. Like, he would have had no trouble connecting with you in about 0.2 of a second. I am technically illiterate, and which is why it took me 18 minutes to connect with you here. And but Alan, he hears songs in his head, and he can like hear the notes, but he doesn't know how to, like, say, play a violin or anything like that. But he can use his computer or things like that. That, for example, you played Full Moon Raging, and it was a song I wrote, and then Alan said, I think it can be a little bit more. He said, do you mind if I add some more lyrics in? And so I thought, yeah, go ahead. And so he added in some fantastic lyrics, and he sent me an early mix of it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is fantastic. The song's awesome. He's like, well, I'm just getting started with it. I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't have to do anything else to it. He said, just trust me. I said, well, send me, the audio of that so I can save it, in an MP3 file, because I don't know how this song can get any better. So he sent it to me, and 6 weeks later or so, he sent me a new mix, and I just couldn't believe it. He had added in strings and things like that, and just gave it such a lush sound. And I hadn't listened to that early mix again until maybe 2 weeks ago. I'm like, oh, I want to hear what it was like. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm such an idiot. I just have to trust Alan all the time because, yeah, that early mix, yeah, it sounds fine, but Alan elevated it like 13 levels higher. So.
Oh, that's so cool. And I was going to ask you too, how did or Norwegian Soft Kitten is listed as a gush band? What is gush music?
Mm-hmm. Gush means we will play just about anything, whatever we think the song deserves. For example, we let off our first album, which we released in late 2020. The first song on it is a country punk album or song. And it's not like we wrote it to be a country punk song, but just as we started playing the instruments and mixing it, it's like, well, it's got a kind of country feel, kind of a punk feel. Okay, that's what it is. And Alan comes from more of a metal background. So our harder songs tend to have a little metal feel to it. I'm more of I still love, the 80s new wave stuff from the early 80s with Thomas Dolby and all that fun stuff. So I have kind of an 80s feel, but then I have much older siblings who listen to the music of the 70s. So, Full Moon Raging has more of a 70s prog rock sound. So, I mean, we've done country punk, we've done a song that was shoegaze, we've done like a Western song, we've done a cappella, we've done instrumental, we've done pop, rock, metal, so we just play whatever. That's what gush is, whatever we feel like playing, kind of.
Okay. And where are you guys located at?
Kind of all over the place. We met in Denver. Alan and I were making films together, and we went out for an Indian buffet one day, and we got done and got back into his car, and Alan had some drumsticks sitting there. I'm like, you play the drums? He said, yeah. And so I said, well, I play the guitar. We should form a band. He's like, right. He said, everyone who wants to form a band always says they want to form a band. Then they never, practice or record anything. I'm like, no, I'll do it. Don't worry. And so we met in Denver. We recorded. We used to rehearse and practice in Denver a bunch. Then I got a job in Indiana. went back out to Denver. We went into a mountain cabin and recorded a bunch of material. Then Alan ended up out in LA, and I was back in Denver for a while, and now I'm back in Indiana. So we're kind of migratory, I guess.
Oh, okay.
We've never lived in Norway, though. I will say that.
You sound like you are kind of like from Norway, or...
Oh, that's just my nasally tone. I have a terrible voice. I have to thank Alan all the time for making my singing voice sound better. For example, with Full Moon Raging that you played, my voice is tolerable on it. Alan's got a fantastic voice. I love Alan's voice. And I'm like, wow, I sound all right on that. And he's like, well, check this out. And this was in December. We were recording some more material and putting the final touches on the mix for our current album, On Loan from the Universe. And Alan played my original unedited, singing for Full Moon Raging. I'm like, oh, good gosh, that is just dreadful. Thank you, Alan, for all the reverb and echo and everything you have to put on my voice. There are a couple songs he hasn't had to do it with, maybe more like Copper Harbor, our 10.5-minute long song on this album. He said he didn't have to do anything to my voice there, but yeah, most of the time I got this, I don't know, nasally weird voice. Alan has to tweak my voice a bit in the mix. So.
Okay. And what's the process of recording or creating songs?
Well, since Alan's in LA right now and I'm in Indiana, what we've been doing is we get together. He comes to Indiana in December. The job I have to pay the bills, I'm a college professor. And so, I finish up the fall semester in, second week of December. So, and he arrives typically when the semester's ending. And then for a couple weeks, we just record. And throughout the year, we're working on songs, and what I'll do is when I come up with a song, I'll make a short video of it, a 1 or 2 minute demo for him and send it to him so he knows, starts getting an idea what kind of drums and bass he wants to put in with it. And we just record. When we were working on material in December of 2020, we recorded our next 3 albums. Well, I won't say all of it. We recorded all the guitars and vocals while Alan was here. And then when he goes back to LA, he can put in the drums and bass and fill out the other instruments. But we recorded over 50 songs. So that'll be our next 3 albums, because we tend to have a lot of songs on our albums. We had 18 songs on our first album, 17 on the current one, and we'll end up with 17 or 18 on our next one. So we try to give our fans, our kiddies, their money's worth, but we tend to record in real energetic bursts for a couple weeks, the 2 weeks we're able to get together each year. It looks like this December I'm going to go out to LA and we're going to record out there. So that should be kind of fun. But at this point, Alan's already mixing our next album, which we'll probably have out, I don't know, early 2023. And we got all the material for the album after that, and we've started on, I guess, what will end up being our 5th album. We already have material we started recording for that.
Oh, wow. And what's been the best piece of advice you've gotten?
Well, since I've played with my brother Brian. He's 2 years older than me. He's an incredible guitarist, and he's in Tucson, Arizona, and he has the Brian Burgett's band. And it's not so much that he gave me advice, but he took up the guitar, when he was 19 or so. And I didn't take up the guitar till I was in my 20s, but just watching him practice all the time and really get into it. And then he would perform all the time at coffee houses and all. And just seeing the success he's had. He plays live all the time now out in Arizona, and he's released a whole bunch of albums. And just seeing his stick-to-itiveness and that, like that, he gets some attention. He gets some good crowds. He gets a lot of streams, through Spotify and other services. But just seeing that, as far as I can tell, he just does it because he loves music. And that's kind of the approach Alan and I take, that we make our songs and our albums to hopefully be the music we want to listen to. And if anyone else listens to it, that's just bonus. And I know this will sound really conceited, okay, but 90% of what I listen to are our 2 albums. I just love them. I'll just listen to them over and over and over. And I hope our 3rd album's that way, the one we come out with next, because so far we're accomplishing what I want. And it's kind of taking the lead from my brother. Just make music because it's fun. You know, we love to do it.
Well, I got to mention this. We only have one of your songs so far on the station. I don't know if you know that, but when are you going to send more?
Oh, I can get you. This is Full Moon Raging. I keep finding more and more stations because I do the marketing for the band. And so this is our 3rd single from the current album. So I'll get you the first 2. And since Full Moon Raging has been picking up so much momentum, at this point it's aired in 8 or 9 countries now on different stations around the world. It's gotten to number 3 on a couple small indie charts. So we're going to ride Full Moon Raging maybe a little longer than we typically would with a single. So yeah, I'll certainly have to get you our first 2 releases, or even maybe our singles from our first album, which we were getting a fair amount of airplay, not as much as with Full Moon Raging. And then yes, certainly when our next single, Parody and Triplicate, is released in a few weeks, I'll make sure you have access to that.
Oh, cool. Thank you. And
you're welcome.
What lies ahead for the band now?
Well, you know, Alan and I, since we're so far apart, and then with COVID and all, you know, we've never performed live. We certainly love the studio aspect of things. And yeah, we've recorded so much material, and I am just so anxious to hear what it sounds like. I imagine typically Alan's method is, you know, get the real rough mixes in the spring and all, and then in the summer he starts sharing those with me, and then through the fall and winter he puts the finishing touches on it. But we'll keep doing that. But we have so many stations in the United Kingdom playing us. Plus our Queen Kitty. Okay, the Yorkshire lass, Diane, she's over there in the UK. And we have so many UK stations playing us that maybe, I don't know, if we get enough of a following over there, we could do some live gigs. Since Alan and I are so far apart, you know, it's not like we're just in, you know, in the same hometown and we can go to a couple bars and play. That we would have to do something that's a little more substantial to make it worth our while. But I don't know that we have enough fans at this point to, you know, get 1,000 people to turn out in one town. But that's kind of the dream. Maybe in a few years we get enough of a following that we can see maybe a little bit of the world and, you know, bring some happiness to some people. And we're still ironing out the details of how we would perform live, since it's just the 2 of us. And so we're tentatively thinking that it wouldn't necessarily be a Norwegian Soft Kitten concert, but we might have to call it the Norwegian Soft Kitten Experience. Not to rip off Jimi Hendrix, but it might not be a true concert as most people think of it. It'll be an experience. But then if you listen to our albums, like I'll have to get you our albums and stuff, that, yeah, we're not a typical type band. So maybe it would be appropriate for us to have experiences rather than concerts. So we'll see.
And is Queen Kitty Diane?
That is Diane over in Yorkshire in England. Yeah, she's our biggest fan. She is such a huge supporter. Her dog is the Prince Kitty, so he supports us as well. So yes, her posts and all always bring a smile to my face. She puts together little videos for us with her dog in an SK attire sometimes and all. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh, and Glenn, Norwegian Soft Kitten is a studio band. What should we expect from the NSK if you ever play live? I think you kind of...
We're not quite sure. Alan and I have talked about the 2 of us being out front. Now, Alan's main instrument is the drums, and he is a fantastic drummer. And so he's like, well, I don't know. How am I going to be drumming and doing, you know, a third of the singing and all? And so we kind of thought maybe we'd both be out in front Yeah, I could be playing the guitar and singing when I need to be. He might have just a little percussion there, playing that, singing when he needs to. And then, we're not sure. We're both Twin Peaks fans. And with the third season of Twin Peaks that was out in 2017, almost every episode ended with a band playing in a bar. And so many of the bands were like 2-person bands, like we are, or a 3-person band. And so much of the music was recorded, and they would just play the instrument they had. And it worked out okay. So we might do something like that. Or Alan has a hankering to just get 4 or 5 random people and put them in outfits that don't match each other and have them doing things behind us. Like one of them's putting, building a rock wall or something. Of course, they won't be real rocks. But I don't, and they're just doing random things while we're doing the songs, to just kind of the randomness of our songs coupled with the randomness of random people doing random things. We're not quite sure. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
And Glenn, what's with that funky guitar?
It is well, I do have an acoustic guitar, so I won't say it's the only guitar I've ever had, but it's the only electric guitar I've ever had. And when I first started playing the guitar, I got like a 3/4 sized acoustic. I don't even remember how I got that one. And, I was dinking around with it and learning some chords. I never had a lesson or anything, just trying to teach myself chords and stuff. And so finally I thought, well, I think I might be getting good enough. Maybe I'm good enough for an electric guitar. And so I was living in DeSoto, Texas at the time, with some family there. My oldest brother, Lawrence, who's actually a fantastic poet. He gets published in all the top poetry magazines in the country. And so I'm living with him and his wife and daughter and all. And so I just went to a nearby instrument place, guitar place, and I saw that guitar. It was $100. It was used, and it has the funky paint job on it with the planets and all that stuff. I thought, oh, crap, that looks cool. I'll buy that one. So I bought that one and a cheap amplifier to go with it. And it's signed Jorge Madrid, 1989. He did the paint job on it. I've Googled Jorge Madrid. there are many Jorge Madrids in the world. I haven't been able to track down the one who painted that one. But the guitar, the bass E string on it rattles sometimes. Alan gets a little electrical interference at times. And I guess I need to take it in to get it serviced. And, the talk, though, of getting a different guitar, I even mentioned that to Alan, like, you think maybe I should, get a different one? This was maybe 2 months ago. He's like, no, just get that one tweaked. We need that guitar. It kind of gives us our sound. So, yeah, it's just an old PVT 25 and all, but I don't know. It's just my guitar. It's what we use for Norwegian Soft Kitten.
Okay. And do you have any more upcoming events or projects?
This new album, we'll certainly have that, and then one following. We haven't come up with any titles yet for the next albums. We hope to record more material then, again in December. I tend to write in fits and spurts. Here with the spring semester ending, I've been grading lots of papers. I haven't been playing the guitar much at all, writing anything. But typically in the summer, I start writing more songs. I don't know. As far as events, I guess we'll just keep writing songs and recording until hopefully we get a big enough following. We can maybe do some live gigs somewhere. I'd love to do some in the States as well if we had that chance. We'll see. I guess till now we just keep recording. Of course, one of the things Alan, he says he's dreading, but I've always played rhythm guitar. And so this is kind of a big thing here, trying to figure this out. So when he was here 2 Decembers ago, December of 2020, and we were recording all the material, we were done for the day. We'd been recording stuff, guitar and vocals for hours, 10 hours or so. And Alan's also a great cook. Okay, so he's like, well, I'm going to get dinner going. And I'm like, all right. I said, well, can you set up, the computer here? Because he's got a fantastic computer. for me, with like some reverb and stuff, let me see what kind of soloing I can do, like lead guitar stuff. And he's like, all right. So he starts putting some reverb and echo and stuff on there. And I started doing stuff, and I only very rarely practice playing lead guitar material, and it was sounding fantastic. He's like, just keep playing. So he hit the record button, and I just kept soloing during the entire time he was preparing the meal. It took him 32 minutes to prepare the meal, and I just soloed the entire time. It didn't all sound great, okay, but there were stretches of a few minutes here and there that just sounded so good. And so he stopped the recording when he was done, and we're like, we got to put that on an album. Is that going to end up like a 25-minute solo thing with Alan just wailing away on the drums in the background, or what? Do we edit it down to like the best 8 minutes? And certainly it's going to be an instrumental, but Alan said he was listening to some of that material, and he said recently, he told me there's just so much in there. Like, I'm just feeling overwhelmed with how to pare down 32 minutes solo into one cohesive song, because I wasn't worried about cohesiveness. I was working all different parts of the neck of the guitar and all. So I don't have any more work to do on that. We've decided to call the song Synapse Death Knell will be the name of it, but maybe for Alan that will be the next big event for him, trying to tackle Synapse Death Knell.
And I don't know if you know this, but this is going to be, it's live on Twitch TV right now. So I don't know if you knew that or not, but and we'll have it on YouTube at the end of the night. So if somebody wants to watch it either place, they can. And Glenn, I need to ask you, what drew you to the music industry?
I've always tried to find different ways to express myself. I've had 3 novels published. Alan and I met while making films. So I've written and directed 12 feature films, and Alan shot and edited a whole bunch of them. I've just always kind of been curious about different ways to express things. And, for years, about all I did was make films, and other stretches about all I did was write fiction. And now I'm to the point where, 95% of my creative juices are going towards music. And I just find it really interesting. It keeps me engaged, I guess, with life. If I don't do those things, especially like right now, if I don't stay engaged in the Norwegian soft kitten process, I'll find myself just sitting and staring at the TV for 6 hours straight. Like, what the heck am I doing? I just wasted an entire day. And so I think that's what's drawn me to both, or all of music, writing, writing literature, fiction, making films. It's just trying to keep life interesting and find different ways to express myself. Not that I have these super deep thoughts or anything like that. It's not like I'm, Socrates or anything, but, different ways to express. So many of the Norwegian soft kitten songs are tongue in cheek, or what we do a lot. And I like the Smiths. And one of the things I liked with the Smiths was Morrissey could sing about the goofiest thing ever, but he sings it seriously. Johnny Marr and the band play it seriously. And for me, that's just such a cool combination of something that's tongue-in-cheek or a little off the wall, but taking it very seriously. And so I find that to be fun with Norwegian soft kitten, to sometimes tackle something that's, kind of goofy and all, but be very serious about it.
What kind of movies you make? Are they out on public or?
Oh, yeah. Like our most well-received film is the one Alan and I worked really closely together on. It's a feature film called To Die Is Hard. It's an action comedy. And we shot it in 2009, released it in 2010. It's available on Tubi TV. People can watch it for free. They have a couple commercials sprinkled in. But To Die Is Hard screened in 6 or 7 independent theaters across the country. One of our worst good films, I guess. We did a film called Midget Zombie Takeover. That's also available on Tubi TV, and that ended up screening in 8 or 9 theaters across the country. We've done some horror films. We did a film that's titled The Worst Movie Ever, and that one gained a lot of notoriety over the years because we set the all-time box office record for the worst opening weekend in history. We sold one ticket for $11, and so that was really embarrassing for about 3 days until it got. I wouldn't say it went viral, but film websites all over the world, Brazil and Japan and Italy were writing about it, and that got us some notoriety. The film ended up screening in a dozen theaters around the country, and To Die Is Hard has done well enough. It just keeps having life. I do screenings with it. I get emails from people saying, hey, my film group just screened it. We loved it. It's an action comedy that somewhat lampoons the Die Hard films, but it's its own film in itself. But last summer, a producer from Toronto, Harrison Astroff, with Late Flicks, he approached me, and I had just done a screening of the film with the Ottawa Bad Movies group and in Ottawa, Canada, and they loved it. And Harrison approached me and said, hey, if we put up a few bucks, me and some other producers, would you make a sequel? And I said, okay. So that is one of the things, other than Norwegian Soft Kitten, I've been working on writing 2 sequels. We're going to shoot To Die Is Too Hard, and then To Die Is Hard 3, hopefully in the summer of 2023 in Denver, because most of the people who worked on the original To Die Is Hard are still in Denver. And so we want to make 2 more sequels while I'm out there, because I don't get to Denver very often anymore. So we thought, we'll take a few weeks. We'll hunker down in Denver and let's shoot 2 sequels. So, yeah, most of our films are available on Tubi TV, Amazon. Our film Auto Shop of Horrors is available on Vimeo, vimeo.com. So yeah, people, Google them or whatever, they'll find them. And if people just look up Norwegian Soft Kitten on like IMDb, we've done the theme songs for some of the films, like To Die Is Hard and The Worst Movie Ever. And they can start seeing, if they click on my name, all the different films, I've written and directed, and just start Googling them. They'll find where they can stream them somewhere.
Oh, cool. I'm going to do that tonight. I watch a lot of Tubi. Do you get a...
I will...
I
will warn people.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I play the lead role in To Die Is Hard as the English professor who's thwarting the terrorists, and I do get topless in it. So if you watch To Die Is Hard, you will see me topless, not necessarily a pretty sight.
Okay. I'm afraid to ask you, what kind of average day is it like for you?
At least during the school year, it's teaching. I teach 4 days a week and all. It's pretty pedestrian. Yes, it's getting up, going to campus, teaching some classes, grading some papers, and and then I try to set aside a couple hours each day for trying to find more radio stations, to see if they're interested in playing Norwegian Soft Kitten. So not super exciting most of the time, but every now and then we spice things up.
Do you find any certain stations that work better for you for your music?
I guess I don't know. Some stations play us constantly, which is always cool. Other stations mix us in here or there. And we're appreciative for every spin. Just any time a station plays us, we're just so happy. I guess we're just naive or something, but I'll be texting Alan, oh my gosh, we're playing on a station right now, acting like I'm, an 11-year-old girl or something. And, but I don't know. The one thing I am trying now is I hadn't really thought much about the college radio stations. And so just this weekend, I found out where I can track down info for college radio stations. And it's a long process, trying to find the right email address, the right contact person. And I try to personalize each email to a station to show, I at least care enough to look at their station for a few moments and take a little interest in it. I don't think that any station that plays us anywhere that plays us like that is super cool to see that we were getting played in Australia. It was super cool to see that, a station in the Netherlands was playing us. But for me as well, in the U.S. here, when I hear that a station here, and especially because with our first album, Sunshine on Lava, there were 7 or 8 stations in the U.S. that played us, but they were all along the eastern seaboard. And I thought, man, what do we got to do to get west of the Mississippi, for crying out loud? And so thankfully, yes, we're getting like KCEG, a station in LA, played us a couple times and all. So, stuff like that gets me super excited as well.
If you send us more, because we try to play each artist every day on the station, and we only play the tracks normally just once a day. But if you send more, just a FYI, you'll be played more too, because Twitter only allows us every 15 minutes to tweet the song. So, we have about 4 songs that don't get played for, each quarter, and I'm not happy with it. We used to be able, but well, what's your favorite part about this line of work, and your least favorite, and why?
Well, my least favorite would certainly be the marketing part of it. And since Alan does the yeoman's work of the mixing, and I feel guilty about that quite often, that, here I am dinking around, putting some chords together, some lyrics, like, hey, Alan, I got a song, okay. And we get together, it takes me, 10 minutes to play the chords, another 5 minutes to sing the lyrics, and I'm done with the song. I put, I don't know, a little bit of time, coming up with this song, but the actual recording, maybe 15 minutes into recording the guitar and vocals. And then Alan's got to spend like 40 hours, putting in the drums, the bass, the mixing it all, tweaking all the levels. So it's only fair that I do the marketing. And I don't hate it, but, it's staring at the laptop, for 8 hours a day, sometimes like on the weekends, just looking up stations, looking up email addresses and all. That's not super exciting. The most exciting part for me is, it seems like it should be coming up with a song. Like when I came up with Full Moon Raging, I remember I was just sitting on the love seat, just strumming strumming chords. And that's typically how I come up with songs. I just kind of zone out and I strum stuff. And all of a sudden I'll think, oh, wait, I like that. And 80% of the time I can remember what I just strummed. About 20% of the time, I'm not paying any attention at all. I'm like, wait, what did I play? I don't even know what I just played, and I can't figure it out. Anyway, so with Full Moon Raging, I can't come up with it. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool. And I came up with some lyrics. Oh, wow, I really like this. Okay, and that was awesome. But when Alan sent me that first mix, I just about lost my mind. And then when he sent me the full mix, I did lose my mind. It was just, I can't believe I was part of something that sounds that good. And I know my part was like 8% of it and 92% of it was Alan, but at least I was part of it. Mm-hmm. And it's those moments. Or with our first album, our shoegaze song, I didn't even know shoegaze was a thing, and I only realized now that, okay, our song Complicated Destinations would probably fall under the shoegaze label. And I remember writing that, and I thought, wow, I really like this, and the chords sound really cool and all. And Alan sent me pretty close to the final mix the one day, and it was later in the day for me. I was getting ready to go to bed. It was the middle of summer, and the air conditioner is purring away and all. And he's like, here's the new mix, for Complicated Destinations. And so I put some earphones in, plugged it into the phone, and started listening. And I just listened to, 15 times in a row. And it's a 6-minute song. I just couldn't believe, oh my gosh, I was 8% of that song. And that for me is the best part when I've thrown a lump of clay on the ground and Alan's turned it into something wonderful. So,
And speaking of the different radio stations, have you ran into any situations where the stations want you to pay to play, or have you pay to promote?
yeah, a number of stations out there, that's just their model. If you send in, I don't know, $20 or something, you'll get X number of plays. Oh, that's fine. We haven't done that. Or a number of stations will say, we'll play you 2 times or 4 times. And if you want more, chip in a few dollars. And I can understand that. My gosh, it is such a brutal world out there in the music world. I just can't believe, that how stations can survive. At least at this point, we haven't had to do that. We've been picking up enough airplay from stations, that don't ask, for any money or anything like that. But I certainly can't blame those stations, though, where they're asking for donations, because I don't know their situations and all. And I'm sure it's not free to have, a good website and, all the broad bandwidth or whatever it's called, to warehouse all these thousands of songs and playing them and social media aspects and all. So yeah, at this point, we haven't paid for anything like that. Maybe we will at some point. Hopefully, KNBC or whatever, or KCLA or whatever it is, the stations like that start playing us like 40 times a day, and we don't have to worry about it.
And what strengths do you have that you believe make you a great musician?
I am not a great musician, so that is one of the things we wonder about, too, with playing live. Because it's like, man, I'm a decent musician. I know how to put some chords together. I would think my strength is I'm just mildly creative at times. I think I've come up with, some creative combinations of chords. One of the things that I like to do, and Alan really likes it, so I don't have to fight him with this. But, typically, with chord progressions, it's an even number. You play it 2 times or 4 times or 8 times before moving on. And I like to do things in sets of 3. And that's what Full Moon Raging, that's all groupings of 3 throughout it, which it's nothing major, but I think it helps give us a little different sound from a lot of bands. And we don't do it in every song, but I think that if I had to say I had a little bit of a strength, it's just being mildly creative in that way. And so it just gives NSK just a little different feel, a little different sound.
Okay. We only have about 3.5 minutes left. So I was going to ask you, is there anything you want to say to any fans or people out there?
Oh, well, our fans, we call them the kitties. So we're always happy to have more kitties. We're very thankful for Queen Kitty. So we need to get the Queen Kitty her court. We need a bunch of princes and princesses, I guess. But we're just always happy when, anyone, even if they go to YouTube and listen to the songs there, if they don't, if they're not on one of the regular streaming services or other streaming services, give a song a like or subscribe, to either the Norwegian Soft Kitten Topic, which is our songs. And we also have a Norwegian Soft Kitten YouTube page where I just put stupid videos up there periodically. If they go to Spotify or Deezer, iTunes or Bandcamp and just stream, a song or two. If they want to stream the whole album, that is awesome. But any little support like that, maybe I get overly excited, but good gravy when recently our Spotify numbers jumped up from 40 to 90 in the span of a week. And I know, plenty of people are getting thousands, tens of thousands. The popular musicians are getting millions of streams a month. But good gravy, to more than double, go from 40 to 90 in a week's time. I about lost my mind on that. So any little thing fans do to support us, or any of the indie bands out there, performers. I'm guessing we all really appreciate that.
Okay, we have just a minute and 20 seconds left, but so is there any instrument that you like the best to play? Is it the funky one?
Yes, it's the funky planet painted PVT 25 guitar, which I don't think they've even made for 25 years. I break out the acoustic guitar every now and then. It's just a pretty straightforward acoustic, gets the job done. But to look down and see the universe on the guitar, hear that echoing bass E string that rattles around every now and then if I hit it a little too hard. Oh, it doesn't get better than that.
Okay. Glenn, I want to thank you for taking the time tonight to do this live interview. It's been an honor to talk to you, and we're going to have to sign off now, but thank you again, and have a great evening.
You're very welcome, and thank you, Mike.
Okay, thank you, and we'll talk to you later. Send us some music, okay?
All right.
Okay,
Will
bye.
do.